Hello and welcome to the ScreenSafe podcast. I'm Anna Sargentson, founder of ScreenSafe and mum to a tween and teen myself. And this podcast is here for anyone who cares about keeping children and young people safer online, whilst also building their resilience, self-esteem and establishing healthy digital habits. So whatever age or stage your children are at, there will be something here for you. No judgment, no guilt trips, no pressure, just support, advice and tools to help you and your family. So thank you for being here and let's get going. Hi and welcome back to this week's episode. Just a short one this week because I want to just focus on something that I know a lot of parents are feeling, and carers and teachers. And it's something I'm hearing all the time when I'm working with parents, either in my membership or I'm meeting parents and teachers in schools. And that's this feeling of digital parenting anxiety, for want of a better word. So you may have well heard of the book, The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt. And I feel that we've got a generation here of anxious parents. And some of that is completely understandable, but it actually isn't serving or helping either us as parents, and most importantly, it's not helping our children. So it's something today where I just want to try and take the panic out of this parenting lark when it comes to the online space and try and help you manage your feelings and emotions about this topic better so that you're in the best possible place to support and help your child, because ultimately that is what this is all about. So that sort of familiar feeling, that knot in your stomach, and maybe it's anything to do with this subject. Maybe you've already had a situation in your home or with your child or with someone close to them where something horrible, unpleasant, or dangerous even has happened connected to the online world. So you've instantly got that alert in your system. You're instantly feeling on edge when anything about this comes into your frame. Or maybe you're just hearing things, seeing things on the news or on social media yourself, or just via other parents or other things, or you're just genuinely worried about this space, and yet you don't really know where to start or how to get a grip on that or how to best support your child. And it can be something such as maybe you've got a child who's at that age now where they're starting to ask for a phone, or maybe they've already got a phone and now they're asking for social media or a different type of game, or maybe they're asking for an iPad, or whatever it is, whatever the age or the stage. And whatever that trigger is, then it makes you have that sort of feeling of, oh no, this just causes me stress. This just makes me feel sick. I don't know where to go with this. Am I doing it right? Am I getting it right? Am I doing things too soon, too late? All the guilt and the judgment and the questions that come from ourselves onto ourselves about this. So you're absolutely not alone. As I say, thousands of parents are feeling like this globally. And remember that worry is coming from a good place. It's showing ultimately that you care. Because if we don't worry, then we're not thinking about it, are we? If we don't care, we don't worry about things. But when that care is turning into a constant sort of stream or feeling of anxiety, it can actually make things harder for you and for your child. So today, I just want to unpack this a bit, understand where it's coming from, how it's showing up, and then how you can replace it so you're in a calmer, more confident position to have that better connection with your child on this subject. So when we're talking about digital parenting anxiety, it's more than just worry, because we worry a lot as parents. Who doesn't? This is when it falls into that sort of overwhelming feeling that keeps you second guessing every decision. You're questioning yourself, you're questioning every decision you've made, you're questioning your child and their decisions. When to give them a phone? Is TikTok safe? How much screen time is too much? Are they going to get left out if I don't give them this? Are they going to be bullied if they do have this? And the truth with this subject is the goal isn't going to get rid of worry. That's never going to happen. It's about understanding it and making sure that it is a trigger to alert you and keep you safe and make the right decisions, but without taking over and taking you into a place of panic and overwhelm. So that's, I think, one of your first signals of, I don't feel in control, I don't understand enough about this, and it makes me worry. But the good news is that you do not need to control everything. You will send yourself around the twist if you try and control everything to do with the online space in your child. It's physically impossible. You can't possibly know everything, do everything, be on top of everything, especially as your child gets older and gets more freedom, gets access to other devices, spends more time with friends without you there, after school clubs, trips away. It's mission impossible, and it's not healthy. So first thing is just remember the one thing always that I stress time and time again that you can control is how safe your child feels coming to you about anything that happens online, whether it's something funny, whether it's something that scared them, worried them, maybe they've done something that deep down they realize they shouldn't have done. We want to make sure that they feel they can come to us and we're going to react in a calm, confident, safe way that means we can help them with their anxiety. So you just need to have the knowledge, the boundaries, and the connection that help you feel that calm and capable position instead of spiraling into panic. So we know, like anything outside of the online safety side as well, when that anxiety comes, it's often during a bigger transition. So it could be your child starts walking to school on their own. Your child is going for their first play date at a house and you're not going to be there. They get their first phone, they get their first social media account, they want more independence. It's all those sort of transition things that happen, and it naturally sort of makes us as parents feel a little bit on edge. And of course, the internet is moving faster than any of us can possibly learn. The online space, what's happening on there is way ahead of us. And again, you will just send yourself, you'll drive yourself crazy by trying to keep up with that. You just can't do it. So what makes it worse is obviously the noise, the headlines, the horror stories, the judgments from other parents. It's really overwhelming. And there are horrible stories out there. There are plenty of situations. You can look at the news any day and find something horrific that is happening in all corners of the world, in all corners of everything, but also in the online space. And I see that every day. That's part of my job, is to understand what is really happening in this space. So I am hearing about the worst of the worst and the saddest situations. So that I can then relay that in a way that's helpful for other parents, with the idea that sometimes we need to know the worst so that we are motivated into enough action to make sure that that just doesn't happen to our child. So remember, every time you see something horrible, distressing, upsetting, or hear something tragic that's happened, particularly connecting to children online, use that as fuel for your mission to understand this space better, to be better prepared, to have better conversations with your child so that these things are not happening to your child. It doesn't mean every child is going to suffer something horrific online. What we want to do is, by raising the awareness and bringing down the panic and the anxiety and improving that with calm and confidence, is make sure that this is happening to less and less children all the time instead of going the other way. But if we're doing, if we're making decisions based out of anxiety and panic, we can either find ourselves clamping down really tightly, either saying no to absolutely everything, or feeling that you're in a constant checking mode. Are you constantly checking your child's device every time they've picked it up? Hours and hours of time spent scrolling through all their messages, checking what they've looked at. Is it causing arguments? Do you feel that now your child's actually hiding things from you or holding back from telling you things? Or we just back away completely and just say, you know what, I haven't got the bandwidth for this. I don't know where to start. I'll put some parental controls in place and it'll be okay. But this just feels too hard. And neither of these help. The magic, what we want to find is in that middle ground, that calm, confident parent or carer sort of feeling. So we know anxiety shows up in different ways. You might find that you are over-restricting your child's access to tech. You might find that you are constantly checking their devices. Maybe you're avoiding the conversations because they feel too heavy, or you don't quite know how to start them or when to start them. And maybe you're making quick decisions based on fear rather than facts, or on other people's opinions, or you're feeling peer pressure based on what other people or parents in your circle or network are doing. And I think I've felt all of these myself at some point as well. And the irony, of course, is the more that we try and control, the less that our children tend to talk to us. They hide, they rebel, they start sneaking around, they shut down. And not because they don't care, but they start to feel our fear as well. Maybe they start to look at us and think, if I go to mum or dad and tell them about this message that I've just received, they're going to completely flip out. They already hate me having a phone. They already don't want me playing this game. They already don't want me hanging around with that person. So that can hide and prevent children coming forward if they feel that we're not going to be able to cope and we're not going to have a level, rational response. That's going to stop them coming to us. And of course, that is the last thing we want. So your calm has to come before their calm, even if in the inside, that is the last thing you're feeling. And maybe you're screaming inside, crying inside, panicking inside. As far as your child or teen is concerned, we want to be able to put on that front of like, okay, this is an unfortunate situation, or this is a potentially dangerous situation, or this is a completely unavoidable situation that should never have happened. But thank you for coming to me. That's brilliant. That's really mature. That's great. Now we can work together and find out how to fix this, whatever that scenario is, of course. And the ways to do that, I think it's sort of this 4-point process of thinking of trying to connect with them before you correct. So before you go in guns blazing or just in sheer panic mode of, oh my God, what did you do? Why did you do that? How could you be so stupid? Or I can't believe they sent that to you. What kind of a friend are they? Whatever that initial reaction, ground yourself first, get that connection with them and start with curiosity, not criticism. Thank them for coming to you about that. Make them realize that them coming to you about any of this stuff is amazing. You're grateful for that. You're proud of them. And that whatever it is, you're going to be able to find a way to improve how they're feeling now, even if they're the ones that have done something wrong. So even if they're coming to you and saying, I have messed up, I sent this picture, or I said something about someone online which actually wasn't very nice. Again, resist that urge or your initial feelings of going in guns blazing and just connect and thank them for coming to you and then say, right, that's not great. Clearly you recognize that was wrong. Obviously adapting this to the situation, and then just work forward of like, okay, what are we going to do from here? What have you learned? How can we make this better? Lots of open questions. Why did that happen? Why did you do that? Why did you send that? Or why did they do that? Why do you think this has happened? How do you feel about this? And just generally, when you're talking to them about anything in terms of their online world, what made you smile online this week? What would you do if you saw something online that didn't feel quite right? So again, we don't have to wait for something bad to have happened to be having these conversations. The best place is to be normalizing the awkward and having these conversations frequently, so your child knows that actually it's okay to come to mum or dad about this, because we talk about this sort of stuff every time we're driving to football practice or every time we're driving to the shops or walking the dog, whatever that time is where you just normalize these conversations, and they can all be completely hypothetical. What would you do if your friend sent you a picture of someone else in your friendship group that you know they wouldn't be happy with, that they'd be embarrassed about? How would you deal with that? Why do you think someone would send you a picture like that? What would you do if someone sent a picture of you and you didn't know about it? Because they're great conversations then to open the doors about consent and making sure that, as well as talking to our children about how to protect themselves, we're constantly reinforcing those messages of how they need to behave online as well. So they need to respect their friends' privacy. They need to respect people's boundaries. They need to be kind. They need to, not share things that get sent in group chats, and recognize when something is bullying. It's not just a bit of a laugh or a bit of a banter. There is a real person at the end of that, even if you're not physically next to them, because it's all happening online. So they're all great ways to just start these conversations. Loads of just random hypothetical, like the game Would You Rather. You can interpret that into online situations. And sort of for yourself, have a look at thinking, right, I'm just going to learn one small thing each week. I'm just going to get better each week. So again, base it on the age of your child and what they've got access to, and think, right, this week I'm going to sit with them for 20 minutes and I'm going to play that game with them, or I'm going to sit with them as they play that game and just understand more about what they're doing, why they like it, who they're playing with. If they've got social media and they're older, that time of who are they following? Why? Why do they follow those people? What do they like about them? What's the message that they're seeing and hearing? And maybe find other people together to follow, inspirational people. Younger children, again, just what makes them laugh? What are they asking to watch? Where are they getting those ideas from? And of course, modeling healthy tech habits yourself all the time. So it's, important that we're not just asking our children to abide by all these rules. Of course, there are differences of behaviours between adults and children. And I'm not for 1 minute saying that children should be allowed to do everything we do. Of course, there's boundaries in place. But what I'm saying is, if you are saying to your children, no phones at the dinner table or no iPads at the dinner table, and then you as a parent come and bring your phone to the table and look at it when someone sends you a message or start responding to a work email, what message is that giving off? And it's very much that sort of building in that pattern of, it's one rule for you, one for us. And actually, why should I care if you're not going to have that same respect for me at the dinner table? Why should I not be allowed my phone? Or so it's just building in that tech habits that you want to see, leaving your phone in a different room to charge. When you're watching a family film together, nobody's got their phone. So we're actually all watching the film together. We're not sat watching a film, but all on different phones, actually scrolling through social media or chatting to someone else. Our behaviour teaches much more than just any set of rules will do. And small little steps done consistently, again, create that calm, create that clarity. There's lots of studies out there that show how much children actually do like and want boundaries. They might not think it at the time, but it does sort of set that clear standard of what's accepting. And of course, the fear is going to creep back in sometimes. And when it does, and you find yourself in a situation that's making you feel that feeling again, just remember, it isn't your job to eliminate every single risk out there. You cannot do that. You cannot keep your child safe from absolutely everything, never seeing anything or hearing anything that you deem inappropriate, just as we can't in the real world. But your job is to make sure that we can raise our children who know what to do and how to behave themselves online and how to keep themselves safe online. So when they do get faced with a risk, they've got some steps and things to keep themselves safe and know how to manage it. And of course, one of those is coming and talking to you about it. So that shift can change everything. You're not trying to fight the digital world. You're not trying to take on Mark Zuckerberg here. You're guiding your child through it. And to do that, you need to know what you're dealing with. You need to understand their space they're in and then keep things in perspective. When I'm talking in my parent membership, and we go into great detail about some of the social media is a huge topic, as you can imagine, and it's ever changing. But say, for example, TikTok. And we can be talking about what's happening on TikTok at the moment, what the latest trends are, the latest risks, the latest influencers that are sort of gaining popularity on these platforms and the potential impact of those. And again, it's having that information. So when you've got younger children, it gives you the knowledge and the power to think, yeah, my 8-year-old, my 10-year-old, my 11-year-old really does not need to be on TikTok. And I feel really confident in that decision. And I'm going to stick with it because I know some of the worst things that are happening on that platform. And that's giving me the confidence to say no. That's an area, I think, for me, when I pre-screen safe days, when I didn't understand this space as I do now, I didn't understand the platforms. I didn't understand the real risks. And so I was saying yes to things that really I absolutely wouldn't do now. And my second daughter, my younger daughter, has had a very different experience to my elder daughter because of what I know and what I've seen online in this space. So for me, it's about giving you that knowledge, the knowledge that helps. And some of it is hard to hear. Some of it can feel a bit frightening. But it's, again, putting it in perspective and just think, right, what am I going to do with that information? I'm not going to just sit here in a state of panic. I'm going to take that and use it to make the right decisions for my child and to start the really important conversations with my child. So if you've listened to that today and thought, that's me, I'm that anxious parent, please know it is okay, but we can change that, because that's not going to be the best place to come from, and that's not going to be the best position to be in terms of keeping your child safe. So you're not behind, you're learning. This is an ever moving space. I am in this space full time and I struggle to keep up with what's going on. So you've got no chance if you are holding down another job, you've got other children, you're trying to carry out other roles in life. This is a full-time job. So let's just get the information you need. Let's get the confidence you need and give you the tools and techniques to be able to manage this and navigate this in a calmer way, because that's what's going to keep your door open between you and your child for those ever so important conversations. So I hope you found this useful today. I hope it's made you just realize that, okay, actually there is a sense of calm. This can be done without complete panic. We will get through this with your child, not you learning against them. It's about doing it together, growing together and learning together. If you'd like to go deeper and learn more and get more up-to-date regular resources, tools and support, then I'd love you to come and join me inside my Protect and Connect monthly membership. Feel free to reach out to Anna at screen-safe.co.uk and I can send you more information about that, or find me on my socials. It's Screen Safe Global on Instagram, and I'd love to tell you a bit more about what's involved. And any other questions you've got, please just get in touch. Happy to answer anything I can. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And thank you for caring. Take care for now, and I'll see you soon. Thanks so much for listening. I really hope you found this episode useful. And if you did, I'd really appreciate it if you would like to leave a like and maybe share it with someone who you feel may benefit from this conversation, or leave a comment below. And if you'd like to receive my newsletter with more news, tips, resources, and all the information about the programs I run and other ways I can support you, please head over to my website, screensafe.co.uk. Take care.